So maybe you're new to Way of the Hunter, or maybe you've been playing a little bit and need just a little bit of help. Today we're going to be talking about 10 different tips for Way of the Hunter to make you better at the game. So with that said, let's get into the video. Number 10, perks. Which perks for your character should you try to unlock and should you focus on? Honestly, the ones that are the easiest to unlock and the ones that you should try to go for first are under the hiker section. Things like a Ghost, the Invisible Man, and Padfoot should be the first ones that you unlock. And the first one, like a Ghost, you can do pretty easily. The best way to do this is to start off the game and not use the Jeep for your beginning objectives. Most of the objectives are fairly close by and can be done on foot. And this perk in particular, with less noise when you're moving upright, especially will help you a lot when you start exploring the various parts of the map. Of course, you starting off with the worst scope and rifle means you have to be even closer, so the sooner you can get this perk done, the better off you'll be. After that, maybe check out the outdoorsman perks, but the hiker perks, especially right off the bat, are the ones I would focus on. Number 9, check the entire herd. When you see a herd of deer, elk, whatever it is, make sure to take the time to use your binoculars and check each animal with your hunting sense on to see what their star ratings are, if they're mature, if they're young. Make sure to look at each and every one of them. The reason I say that is 1-star bucks, 2-star bucks, they'll be mixed in sometimes with a 5-star buck. And the way I killed my first 5-star mule deer was because I checked each buck in the group. Of course, he was the last one that I checked, so make sure you look at each one of them before just dismissing a group of them or just taking a shot. Number 8, which animals should you cull so that way you can get the best genes in the game? This one's pretty simple. When you start looking at groups of animals, start focusing in on 1-star and 2-star mature animals. And if there isn't a mature animal, 1-star adults usually are the first ones that I try to take out of the group. The reason for this, if they're a 1-star adult or mature, they generally don't have good genetics. And you want bucks that have at least 3 stars, 4 stars, if not 5 stars by the time they're adult or mature. So if you're trying to fill objectives, or if you just need a little extra cash, focus in on culling out 1-star and 2-star mature male animals. Number 7, yellow means go. What do I mean by that? It means that you have enough force to do critical damage on an animal. When you start looking at animals through your scope, you'll see if you use your hunting sense, not only their distance, but how much force you have. And if that turns yellow while you're aiming at them, that means that you have enough power to take down that animal, no problem, and make a good critical shot. This will help you, especially when it comes to blood trailing animals that you've hit. And it'll also tell you if you maybe need to get in a little bit closer. If it's white, does it mean you can't kill the animal? Oftentimes you can, but it might mean that it's going to be a long blood trail and it might be very frustrating for you. So always keep that in mind. Number 6, the Encyclopedia. I didn't start using this as a resource until later in the game, and I wish I had. So remember how I talked about how the yellow, when you're looking at an animal through your scope, kind of gives you a sense of that you can take it? Well, this is where you can also look to see how much force you need to take out various animals from various distances. This will tell you everything about patterns for animals, when they're going to be eating, sleeping. This will also give you insight into the ballistics of each caliber of rifle that you can use in the game. So if you have questions, make sure to always check the Encyclopedia because it might have the answer right there for you already. Speaking of things I wish I learned earlier, number 5, storage in the truck. I didn't realize that you could go to your Jeep and go to the back rear end of it and it had storage. Not only does it store and allow you to switch out various rifles, calls, or various kinds of items, but it also replenishes all of your ammunition. That's right, you get your ammo for free and you can get it all from the back of your Jeep. So if you're out way in the woods and you're scouting out a new area, don't feel like you have to go back to your main lodge to get a box of ammo. Just go to the back of your Jeep. Number 4, pattern your shotgun. When you start playing the game, you start having to use your shotgun for various objectives. I've noticed that several people have struggled sometimes with figuring out how their shotgun shoots and patterns. On top of that, I made an entire video about this and it seems to help a lot of people, especially with their swing. Their game settings just aren't right, and when they try to take swinging shots with their shotgun, they're missing quite frequently. So make sure to take the time when you start first objectives with the shotgun to actually pattern it, see how far you can shoot with it, and make sure that your game settings are actually correct for your swing. I'll put a card above and the link below so you can check out my shotgun video and making sure that you're knocking down birds in no time. Number 3, water equals animals. Honestly, if you're struggling to find an animal, or if you're starting to figure out where to go exploring, just find water sources and that will be your key. But in particular, I would go after areas that have just one lake in a large section or chunk of land. These areas are going to be hot spots for various kinds of animals. And this is how I've found several 5-star animals, is by targeting way out of the way lakes that are just by themselves. Once you get there, also make sure to walk around the perimeter of it and get all the information that you can, because oftentimes you're gonna get multiple species coming to that one water source. And so that way you can get all the information you need, probably from 2, 3, sometimes 4 species, just from one small little lake or pond in a more remote location. Number 2, mark your shot. You can do this one of 2 ways, either before you shoot or after you shoot a target animal. And what that is simply using the exploration marker, which is X for your key binding. That way, when you're done with the shot, you can go over and find that blood trail immediately. You might think that you know exactly where that blood trail starts, but you'd be surprised how easily it is when you're taking longer shots that you just can't seem to find it. This way, you have an easy target to walk over to and start your blood trailing. Like I said, you can do this either before or after, whatever works for you. Number 1, glass, glass, and more glass. When it comes to spending money in this game, the first thing that you should try to do is improve your scope and your binoculars. And the reason I say that is being able to take better shots farther away, as well as being able to know what's in front of you with using your binoculars, are gonna help you quickly progress in the game. Sure, some of the higher caliber rifles are gonna knock down animals sooner, but so will a well-placed shot, especially if you can zoom in and make a critical heart shot. To me, it's a no-brainer. This is just like in real life when you're actually hunting, especially with your optics, going to be the big thing that decides whether or not you make that shot. In terms of rifles, if you're interested, I could do an entire video where I just do a tier list of the various rifles and tell you which ones I recommend that you buy first. So there you go, 10 tips to make you better at Way of the Hunter and certainly get you on your way. So hopefully that helped you out. If it did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, shoot straight and knock something down.